Okay, so now let's look at your actual overhead. All right, now these are going to be your monthly costs, and let's start with your fixed costs. Your fixed costs are going to be your costs that don't change. So, as you saw on the previous slide, we calculated your equipment loan. So we have that payment right there. And let's say you have a trailer rental. Most trailer rentals are $200 a week. Okay, now this is fixed cost per month. This is based off of 4 weeks in a month. Okay, and insurance for most people can vary anywhere from $2,000, from $1,000 to $2,400. Let's just go $2,000. Okay, so these are your fixed costs. Okay, you got your insurance, you got your truck payment, you got your trailer. Those are fixed; they don't change. That's why they're fixed costs. So the total of your fixed costs is $38.53.35. So then we take that fixed cost and we divide it by 4 to give you your weekly costs. Now let's come on over here to variable costs. Now tolls, again guys, that's really going to vary depending on where you are, but I like to factor in something so that you're kind of hedged against it. Okay, subscriptions, this could be your clearinghouse, your monthly clearinghouse costs. Your clearinghouse is your drug test cost for your drivers to make sure that you're compliant. Your QuickBooks, your subscription fees, load boards, depending on how many of those you got, other costs, and then you can get in here to your cell phone, which could be $110 a month. And then you're gonna get into travel, which is like what I like to call for the food. Consumable supplies, snacks, waters, whatever you didn't pack. Let's budget out, $100 a week for that, okay? And again, I left other spaces in here for you to figure out whatever it is else that you have over here, right? So let's just say you have roughly $740 of additional variable costs. Okay, so that breaks out to roughly $185 per week when you take that total cost and divide it by 4. Okay, because remember, the way that I have this calculator set up, everything in green is where you're going to put your enter. It's where your inputs are going to be, and then everything in gray is where it's going to be calculated. Okay, and right here it gives you a summary right here based off the miles that we put in before. So now, based off of that, our company overhead cost per mile is $1.10. Now, that's based off of the $1,000 equipment payment, the insurance, and all the other variable factors that we have in here right now. Now, as I mentioned before, if we come over here to fuel, and let's just say we're running less miles, right? See how that brings our costs up. As I mentioned before, just basic algebra, if you're dividing something by less, it's going to be more. Just basic division. So, as you can see, everybody's equation is going to be slightly different, but that's why you have to go in here and play with these variables to figure out exactly where you are. Okay? So, at 2,500, our company overhead cost per mile is 98 cents. Okay, so this section of the overhead calculator is extremely important, guys. Don't overlook this, and don't forget to make sure you're adding in everything. My costs are different than your costs are different than their costs, etc., etc. So this is the overhead cost per mile calculator. Now, in the next section, we're going to get into the driver pay, because some of us are coming in with drivers, some of us would like to hire drivers, and ultimately, if you want to scale the business up, you need drivers. So you want to factor in their costs as well, so that you can get a rough estimate of your cost per mile, so you know whether or not you're profitable.